Hello there, this is Russell Owen, writer-director of Shepard and Inmate Zero, and you're listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast, episode number 225. Tonight we're talking about 1981's Madman, which is currently streaming over on Tubi for Canadian US listeners. One of your co-hosts, Todd, and we have Steve. We're Joe-less tonight because he just got back from a con in Texas and he's jet lagged like crazy. He's all tuckered out. He's all tucked in. Sam, tucked in his little neck and everything. He's just snoring away, so he's a little tired. So we're Joe-less tonight, but I got Steve. What's up?
Not too much. What about you?
Nothing really. I mean, working and
living
in this
Texas
Airbnb. Living in an Airbnb, seeing a lot of houses, which I finally landed one because the market is like the worst. I don't want to bore everybody, but the market right now is like super terrible for buying a house. But obviously I have to buy one as I'm living in a studio apartment. My family's all in Kentucky still, so just sleeping on a futon and playing Xbox mostly, so it's not too bad.
Living the life.
Well, playing a lot of VR. This is the most VR I played since I got my Quest, honestly.
Yeah. Have you only been playing walkabout mini golf, or are you playing anything else?
Mostly mini golf because it's my favorite game, easily. And
That's
then
so good.
it's so realistic. It's crazy.
No, it's like having a mini golf in your living room. It's like it's hard to explain unless you try it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the levels are awesome. The music's great. One of them sounds like the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, so I'm like super into it. I downloaded Angry Birds too. I would recommend it one, you have to like Angry Birds, but you need to know what you're going to expect. It's literally what the cell phone game is, except you're in like the map and you're holding like a slingshot and stuff.
Okay, so it's like a POV shot. It's like first person Angry Birds.
Yep. So it's fun, but it's not like anything groundbreaking or anything.
Right. Have you played any horror games lately?
Not on VR, no. I have The Exorcist, which I still need to play. I've been picked up my movie watching. Like I increased that activity. I brought a bunch of movies with me that I haven't watched yet on Blu-ray and stuff like that. So I've been doing that, but no horror video games. What about you?
Nothing really horror yet. I really want to try The Exorcist, but I'll wait till you tell me if it's any good because it's still like $35 at the moment. The problem with the horror games is they're all like the ones where you have to move, like Resident Evil, and it just makes me too sick if it doesn't have teleportation. So that's kind of the problem that I'm facing with the horror games. I did play a few horror levels in Horizon, but nothing too crazy,
Yeah, that one's manageable because you pretty much just stand there.
It depends on the map, but most of them. I did try that zombie one that you told me about, which I forget the name right now.
That's one I was thinking about. Drop Dead.
Yeah, so that one at least, it's like a station. It's kind of like House of the Dead. If anyone's played that, the arcade, it's just kind of going through. You like shoot some zombies, and then it moves you to another area, and then you shoot more zombies, and it's cool.
I got my first mosquito bite of the season, which is fantastic. They need to go back to hell where they belong, but
no kidding. But I imagine in Texas, there's a lot worse than mosquito bites.
I don't know. Kentucky was pretty bad. It just, the climate. Kentucky and Texas are wet and hot and humid, so these little bastards just fucking thrive, man. There's like no eradicating them.
Yeah, that's crazy. And also, one thing very important to note as well, this is your birthday episode.
Yeah,
the only one who showed up.
Only person who showed up to my birthday party. Thank you.
So early birthday for this recording, but happy birthday for the pod.
As of we're recording, it's 2 days from now.
Yeah, so that's right. On a very important day. It's May the 4th.
Star Wars Day. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. I wonder what's cool Star Wars stuff. It's probably just a trailer for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, which should be awesome. Yeah, that's at the end of this month, so I'm pumped for that.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna go see The Northman on my birthday evening because that looks pretty cool. Plus, Robert Eggers is great, and I forget what the actor's name is. It's one of the Skarsgårds.
One of the there's so many of them.
Brothers,
I think it's Stellan. Is it Stellan?
I don't
one of them. Yeah.
I know it's Skarsgård and then
right, and the old Skarsgård. Yeah. And the rest just kind of blend in with each other.
It's like the Baldwins. Like you don't know how many there are.
They keep popping out of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
you see the
There's
credits,
another
you're
one.
like, which Baldwin? Whoa, I never
Yeah.
heard of
They're
fucking
they're all
Tom
talented.
Baldwin. Yeah,
I know that would suck to be like one of the Baldwins, where you're just like an insurance salesman.
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Oh man.
absolutely. Yeah, it's hilarious. And
Yeah.
yeah, so since it's your birthday, you picked Madman, which is what we're reviewing today. Why
Mhm.
that one for your birthday pick this year?
A couple of reasons. One, it's one of the 20 movies that I brought with me because I just got the new 4K release from Vinegar Syndrome, I believe it's from. Plus, it's got Galen Ross, which I know you're a fan of, from Dawn of the Dead, plays Fran, and it was accessible on TV for everybody, so it's a easy one to watch. So, and plus, I like it. Um, this is my second or third time watching it. I do have issues with it, which we'll cover later, but yeah, Galen Ross. I mean, she's only done 3 movies, so it's cool to see her in one of the 3.
Yeah, I actually, so speaking of Joe at Texas Frightmare, I actually finally got her autograph through Joe. So he met her over at Texas Frightmare. I'm pretty psyched about it. She looks fucking good. I don't know,
Phenomenal.
like I
Yeah.
guess I was expecting her to be like super old, because I mean Dawn's like 78, so
Yeah.
like that's over 40 years ago, and she wasn't like 10 during Dawn. So, but goddamn, she looks so good.
She almost looks older in like Dawn of the Dead
I
and
know that's what's
Madman
fucking
than now.
crazy.
I'm like, what is she doing?
Yeah, when Joe sent me a picture, I really was expecting someone super old.
Yeah. Ken Foree looks great too.
Yeah, he
His
does.
age.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
only what's his face? The other one I got the autograph from.
Scott Reniger.
Yeah, he's looking.
He's up there. He's up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course David MG never comes anything anymore, which sucks.
No, exactly. I hope he's doing okay.
I know, hopefully.
Yeah.
But he's one to meet if I ever can. I'm at the point where if he's gonna do a con, I'm flying there. Like,
right.
I got to do it.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Absolutely. All right. You want to get this party started?
Yeah. Break out the cake.
So we weren't planning on doing questions, so we don't have any questions this week. Joe has all the movie news, so we're not doing that either. So we're just gonna head right into what watch. So I'll let the birthday boy go first. What have you been watching?
The birthday boy. Okay. I've been waiting to talk about this one. So I watched one called Cannibal Hookers from 2020, and it's actually a remake. It's Donald Farmer who directs Shark Exorcist and Debbie Does Demons, which we're executive producers on that one.
We're executive producers on Debbie Does Demons and just producers on Shark Exorcist too.
Yeah, so I'm so excited for those to come out.
Yeah, me too.
But Cannibal Hookers is a remake of his own film. This guy, Donald Farmer, like you would not guess that he is the age he is, but he's up there. He was directing movies in the 80s, right? So he's up there in age. But this one, honestly, the plot is very lacking. I guess there's like a hooker and she's escaped from like a religious cult, and that's why there's random scenes with this reverend or father or whatever you want to call him posting pictures, and then one scene he starts singing like a gospel, but then he freaks out and starts screaming it, and it's just like in the movie you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Because he just comes out of nowhere with no explanation. And then yeah, these girls are just going around killing Johns, and dudes are trying to buy their time and stuff, and it's got like it's got a I can't rate this movie like a traditional movie, because if I tried, it would be like down in the gutters. But if you like shot on video type films and clearly stuff that's made with like $3,000 tops, you know what I mean? Where probably all the crew and actors are volunteers, if not paid, maybe $100 in a sandwich. Then you'll like it. If you go in thinking it's gonna be like the next Dawn of the Dead or something, you're gonna hate it. But it's got heart. It's got like clearly had a good time, and it's funny seeing like all their mistakes, like crew members and in the camera shots, and they're in mirrors and you see the cameraman off in the corner trying to hide, and it's like, come on guys. For the dudes out there or girls, there's plenty of naked women in this one, so that's good. And continuity is like not a thing in this movie. This girl, the main character, she starts off like a shaved head kind of punker girl look, and then maybe 30 minutes in, she has a full head of hair and a completely new hairstyle, and then like the next scene she's back to her shaved head. So they obviously shot it out of order, and then like took a couple months or maybe a year, I don't know, to film it, so everything was wrong like with the characters, so it was funny. But it's enjoyable, man. Cannibal Hookers, if you're into the fun stuff like that, then I think you'll like it.
Nice. I also forgot to mention at the top of the show that we actually have an interview attached to this episode. So I interviewed Russell Owen, who is the director of Patience of a Saint, aka Inmate Zero, and also a new movie that's coming out this week called Shepard. So that's the two movies I'm going to talk about my watch. So stick it out to the end of the episode for that interview. So the first one, Patient of a Saint, or also known as in the US and Canada, it's called Inmate Zero, which is the name you would find over on Tubi. So in this one, a girl's on death row on a prison that's on an island in, I believe it's Ireland, maybe Scotland. I'm not 100% sure. And this doctor that's in the prison wants to make a deal with her that if she agrees to take part in some experiments, they'll change her sentence from death of the electric chair to lifetime in prison. But she absolutely refuses. She says she'd rather die than go through the experiments because she heard the experiments are really rough. Well, sure enough, the experiments are happening on the island, and they lead to like a zombie type apocalypse or infected type deal. And then it's about these women at this prison trying to get off the island and escape from the infected. So nothing too like crazy new about this. It's a pretty standard zombie story, but it's well shot, it's well filmed. The zombies actually look really cool. They don't look like it's almost like a mix of zombie and infected. Like they're fast and they're crazy, but they're also kind of like dead in a way that they just stand there unless you get their attention. They have like these kind of black eyes. It's actually a pretty cool design and something that's a little different than what you see. I do like the take of having a women's prison, having to deal with it, because you have a different dynamic than some of the other films I've seen. And it's an okay film. Nothing I would go out of my way to watch. But if you like zombie films, it's better than a lot of those like zombie films you'll find on Tubi that have a cool poster and probably suck. It's a decent like made film, so I'd recommend it. And that's called Inmate Zero over in the US and Canada.
Yeah, Tubi has amazing artwork, but usually not good films.
Yeah. Oh my
God. It's like
God.
a trend.
Yeah, it happens a lot. You really can't, box shop on Tubi because you'll be disappointed.
In the next week, a little spoiler, Steve and I will talk about Cuddles the Clown, which
Tickles
the Clown,
yeah.
Which it might be one of the worst movies I've ever seen easily.
You want to hear something really crazy?
Yes.
It's the fourth one in a series.
Why?
So it's in the same series as
Trump
Bigfoot
versus something.
Yeah, Trump versus the Illuminati, Bigfoot versus the Illuminati, and another thing versus the Illuminati. So
gosh, he loves the Illuminati.
Yeah. Well, the Illuminati is the group that kind of brings all the stories together.
Did you watch them all?
Fuck no. I might watch the Trump one. I'm curious enough to check it out just to see kind of what he looks like.
Yeah, is it animated too?
I guess so.
I was about to throw it on just to see what the voice acting was like.
Yeah, I mean it's Bill Oberst Jr. that plays Tickles.
Well, we'll talk about that. But
did you watch the whole thing?
I did, unfortunately.
Oh my God,
it's rough, man. To be fair, I did have my phone out,
of course,
because I cannot watch that movie
straight.
No. It's bad, man.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad.
It kind of. Do you ever watch Machinima back in like the 2010s? It's like a video game where what people would do. It's like a YouTube channel. They take like characters in a game like Halo. And just put voiceovers and make stories with them, kind of like Red versus Blue.
Oh, okay.
Things like that. So they did that with multiple games. That's what basically this movie was. They just took like game footage and put voices over them and made some sense of a fucking weird horny director.
Every fucking line went back to sex.
Yeah. Which makes no sense.
No, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it next week. We want Joe to hear what he made us watch. So.
That's a good punishment, though.
Fuck yeah.
All right, my next one is another rewatch. Wait, no. What did I watch? No, this rewatch. Dead and Buried from 1981. This one's currently streaming over on Shudder and Amazon Prime. But it was another case of, I got the updated 4K, so I wanted to check it out. Dead and Buried is like one of those that doesn't have a lot of love, but I really like. And it's about a small town cop on like a shore town, right, where everyone's just fucking acting weird. People are ended up dead. They don't know why. Like townsfolk are being fucking strange. His wife is like, he thinks she's having an affair because like she goes out and doesn't know, makes up weird excuses, things like that. But as viewers, we know, because, and this isn't a spoiler, this happens in the first 5 minutes. This photographer comes and he's taking, random shots, whatever. Then, this pretty girl comes down the beach. She's like, can I be a model? And she takes off her top and kind of lures him in. And then like 20 of the townspeople show up and just kill him. They end up lighting him on fire and leave him for dead. And then, so we know in the background that the townsfolk are fucking crazy. But from the sheriff's point of view, he's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And they have this like this mortician that's like obsessed with putting people back together. So when he gets a victim, he's like, yeah, I can make him fucking pretty again, things like that. He's also he's played by the worthless grandpa from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That piece of shit in that movie, Grandpa Joe, right? I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and then it unfolds as like a mystery. I love it. It's got cool acting, great premise. Robert Englund, one of his first roles. He's very young in this. He's actually pretty good. But yeah, Dead and Buried over on Shudder. I think you would like it. There's some goofy acting at some points, especially when like this couple and a kid are going through a house and like won't shut up. And they do like every horror trope imaginable, like, is anyone there? And shit like that. But other than that, yeah, Dead and Buried, directed by Gary Sherman. I, for one, I love it.
Yeah, I watched it when there was a time where I was trying to go through the video nasty list. And that's one of them. So
I wonder why it's nasty, probably because she puts a needle in the dude's eye.
You know what? The video nasties are really not that bad.
Yeah.
At least the majority of them I watch. I mean, yeah, like Cannibal Holocaust and a few things like that, Eaten Alive, and there's a few of them that are pretty bad, but the majority of them are pretty tame, at least compared to today, to the standards that I guess we as horror fans have. But anyway, so, and that one's one of them. Like, I was kind of confused as to why it was a video nasty. It wasn't that bad,
No, it's not.
All right, so my next one is a movie from 2022, and it's the movie that Russell Owen is here to plug on the interview at the end of the show, and it's called Shepard. So in this one, it's on VOD if you want to watch it. So in this one, it's like a guy, he goes through a tragedy and he wants to get away from it. So he takes a job where he like takes care of a lighthouse on a secluded island, and he lives there all on his own at some shitty house, and he has no way of getting off the island. But there's this captain that comes every week or so, I guess, to bring him supplies and stuff like that. And it's just basically the story of this guy and his dog as he grieves and starts seeing things and starts having kind of cabin fever, and he starts finding things on the island that are mysterious, and then he thinks it's haunted, might be haunted, I'm not telling you. And that's basically the plot of the story. And there's things that happen, he finds some things, he finds out things about himself, things I don't know if he didn't remember or they weren't telling the audience, but like kind of the backstory as to why he's so fucked up gets revealed throughout the movie. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's kind of like an A24 film without being an A24 film. Officially, it definitely got that slow burn European vibe to it. It's in Scotland, and really, really well shot. Great score and stuff like that. And there's a lot of really creepy imagery that comes up once in a while, like very surreal imagery of things on the island. There are fantastic looking locations on this. There's a couple things that like come out of nowhere and were really cool looking and fun to explore. It's really like a top-notch like directed film. Unfortunately, I think it was a little too slow for my liking, and it's like almost 2 hours long, and I started really feeling that runtime after like an hour, because it is just one guy and his dog on this island, and there are very few interactions with anyone else. And that's cool for a while, but after a while you just like kind of want to move on the story and stuff like that. And although I respect where the movie ends up at the end, it wasn't my favorite ending. Like, I think there could have been a better ending to this than the one that we got. But still, I think if you get a chance to check it out somewhere, that's Shepard, and I would recommend checking it out at least once.
Alrighty, cool.
Yeah, got anything else, or ready to move on?
I have three if you want to do three.
Might as well.
Yeah. All right. My third one of the night is going to be Island of the Fishmen from 1979. It's actually a Blu-ray that just came out from Full Moon. So I grabbed it on their last sale for like $10 or something. This one is about a shipwrecked group of men that, go to this secluded island, and there's like a random dude and like his young bride, as well as some tribesmen that live in this fucking mansion, and tribesmen are basically like the guy's slaves or whatever. Meanwhile, there's like fishmen hybrids that are like, half fish, half man, that will slowly pick off the survivors, kill them and stuff. And it turns out that they found the lost city of Atlantis in like an underwater cave, but they can't get to the riches. So this evil doctor started splicing fish and human DNA, so the fishmen can swim down there and get the fucking gold. I'm like, there's gotta be an easier way to do this, but I guess like changing the law of nature is the easier path for this movie. It's pretty cool. Like it's nothing like crazy special. I'm a sucker for like this, the way these movies look, like with this like cheap plastic rubberish suits, but they go there and they actually show the villains instead of like, being shy with it. There's a lot of them too, so like they all gang up on people and they start slashing them, things like that. It's a little too long though. Like they could have cut down a lot of this bullshit and just made it more of like a monster movie instead of more of like, it was mostly like a mad scientist and the fishmen were like afterthought. But overall, if you like find it for $10 or something, or if you see it streaming for free, Island of the Fishmen, 1979, check it out.
That's interesting. Interesting premise there. So my last one this week is a movie from 1992 that I watched over on Tubi, and it's also over on Full Moon because it's a Full Moon picture, which I am now subscribed to because Todd told me about a deal and I couldn't refuse it. So basically, I got a year's subscription to Full Moon, the entire Evil Bong set with a case that holds, I guess, room for weed. I think that's the whole point of it. It's a stash box. And then I got to pick either 10 movies, like anything on the Full Moon website, or the Puppet Master series, which is 12 movies. I ended up going for the Puppet Master series. I just always wanted it. Yeah, it's like crazy. I calculated it's almost like a $400 worth of stuff that I got for like $70 because that's how much the subscription
well worth
is.
it.
So definitely jumped on it. So you can watch it either on Full Moon or on Tubi. So like I said, bad channels. So in this one, it's about a group of people on the radio, and they kind of fuck around on the radio, pretending like events are happening and stuff to get attention from their listeners. Like they're doing a thing where he's not going to leave the radio station until he gets a certain amount of like money or something like that. So people don't really like take these guys seriously. They're kind of goofballs. But then all of a sudden, aliens attack and they take over the radio station, and they, for whatever reason, continue to let the two guys broadcast while they're doing kind of their attack. And they start like freaking out and telling people, bring the cops over here. It's crazy. Aliens are attacking. But of course, everyone thinks it's another one of those stupid radio stunts. So no one takes them seriously and everyone's laughing at it. And meanwhile, the aliens start targeting people in the town, and they can like teleport them from like this jar in the radio station. They can like find them within like some weird like mirror thing, and then they can teleport them into the thing. So people start going missing in the town, which makes some people suspicious because they hear the people at the radio station be like, they just brought this person in here and that person's missing. So people eventually get wise to it and realize it's actually an alien invasion and not just some crazy thing. I mean, it's typical Full Moon of the early 90s. Like, it's cheesy, but it's fun. Like, I had fun with it. The creatures are stupid looking, but in a good way, like bad costumes, like Todd was kind of saying with the previous movie. It's definitely better than what Full Moon's been putting out recently. It has that cool, like, kind of early 90s vibe to it. And I didn't hate it. It's not a great film. I don't know if it's something I necessarily ever revisit, but I thought it was a fun, cheesy sci-fi film. So that's Bad Channels over on Tubi.
I take that Full Moon over this shit they're doing any day.
Oh my God. It's not even comparable.
I don't know why. Like,
I'm trying to see where was the shift? Like, is it early 2000s where they started just
probably with the Evil Bong stuff, right? Even that's still the same kind of quality though.
Yeah, Evil Bong's been 16 years, if you could believe it.
Oh really?
Wow. They've been making those films. The
pandemic like ruined him or something. I don't know.
Oh, the pandemic especially. Oh my God, like the stuff they've been putting out since the virus. It's corona zombies.
God, it's the worst.
Yeah, it's just like they're not even trying anymore.
No, and they have such a good backlog. They can literally put a puppet master together for the amount of money they're spending on the 50-foot cam girl, and I'd buy it.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Whatever.
All right. So before we go into our new kind of trivia game that we're going to try out here, first, a word from our sponsor.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
All right, so how do we do this?
Okay, so I wanted to do this anyway, just when it was going to be the three of us tonight. But I guess it's good that there's only two of us because it's going to be easier. It's a game I saw over on TikTok, and I thought, fuck it, we've been doing the same type of trivia for 2.5 years now. So I'm trying different questions. I did the one where I say a keyword and slowly get easier and stuff like that. So this is the way this one's going to be played. So I wrote down the name of a movie. It's nothing too obscure, especially for now as we're getting to know what's going on. And I'm going to put IMDb page on my computer. So I have access to all the information, and I'm going to put a clock for 60 seconds, and you can ask me as many questions as you like. It can only be yes or no answers. I could say sometimes maybe, kind of, or I don't know. It just depends on the question. If you're asking something I have no idea about, obviously I can't answer it.
So it's 20 questions.
Kind of, but yeah, 60 seconds. You can ask as many questions as you want, and you have to try to guess the movie from those, from your own, essentially, questions.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna put the clock on my phone.
Okay.
So I have a movie in mind. I'm just gonna pull up the movie on IMDb.
Okay. 60 seconds. Tell me when to go.
I try to pick movies I kind of know, enough of, but I don't know everything about this movie. Let me just pull it up here. So whenever you're ready, 60 seconds. Go.
All right. Is it a slasher?
Not really.
Creatures.
Not
Demons.
Really. Kind of.
Zombies.
Kind of.
What's kind of with zombies and demons? Is it from the 80s?
Yes.
Does it star Bruce Campbell?
No.
Does it have? It's kind of like zombies. It's kind of like demons. Shoot. Does it have? Is it colorful?
It's a color movie.
No, I mean I don't even know what that even means. Shoot, is it a survival girl?
No.
No, fucking shit. Kind of like zombies, kind of like fucking demons. What does that even mean? Is it vampires?
Nope.
Is it demon zombies?
Kind of.
What the is it the movie Demons?
No. All right, last guess.
Yeah, Evil Dead.
Wrong.
Damn.
So it was actually Pet Sematary.
I was way off.
Because they're kind of demons, they're kind of zombies. They're not quite.
All right, I got one.
So I after a minute, I give you always one final guess. Just
okay.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.
All right. Is it from the 80s?
Yes.
Is it a slasher?
No.
Is it a zombie film?
No.
Is it a giallo?
No.
Is it American?
Yes.
What else? Is it a ghost film?
No.
Supernatural?
Kind of.
Is it By Full Moon?
No.
Trauma?
No.
Was it mainstream?
Yes.
Is it Evil Dead?
It is. Good job. 32 seconds. Dang.
All right. Let me get my second movie here. All right. So what do you think of this one?
It can work.
It's just something different. It doesn't have to be all the time. It just adds to the.
Yeah.
All right. So. Okay.
How would we score it though if there's two of us guessing?
I'm gonna do it one at a time.
Oh, okay.
Ask you and ask Joe, and then he can have a steal.
Okay.
On the final.
Yeah, that'll make it interesting.
And they can ask one question on the steal just to reinforce it. Are you ready?
Yep.
Go.
90s.
No.
80s.
No.
70s.
No.
60s.
No.
2000s.
No.
2010 and up. Gosh, damn. Ghosts.
Nope.
Demons.
Nope.
Slasher.
Nope.
Is it in the forest?
Nope.
Animals.
Nope.
Is it a remake?
Nope.
Shoot. 2010s and up. And is it a ghost movie?
Nope.
Is it a? I suck at these. 2010 and up. No ghosts, no vampires.
Nope.
Shoot. Werewolves.
Nope.
Oh my god. Is it a full moon movie?
No.
Is it a Universal movie?
Nope.
Is it starring Tom Cruise, The Mummy?
No.
That was Universal. Is it set in the desert?
Nope. Final guess.
2010s. Is it Chernobyl Diaries?
No. Train to Busan. You never said zombies. So.
Darn it. All right. Get my thing up. Here it is. And go.
80s?
Nope.
90s?
Nope.
2000s?
Nope.
2010?
Nope.
70s?
Yep.
Zombies?
Nope.
Romero?
Nope.
The Exorcist?
Nope.
Aliens?
Nope.
Let's see. 70s. Is it Jaws?
It is. Fuck. 24 seconds. You're killing this game. Son of a bitch. You know what? I'm gonna change this fucking one because you're gonna get that one easily if you got Jaws easily. All right. Go ahead.
Right. Got it pulled up here. And go.
Ghost movie.
Yes.
2000s.
Yes.
Is it Insidious?
No.
Conjuring?
No.
Paranormal Activity?
Yes. 13
Yay.
seconds. Way to go.
Yes, finally. Redemption.
Yeah. But when you got Ghost first, I mean,
Yeah.
for a full minute of Ghost films in the 2000s,
Yeah, there's not a lot.
right. Eventually, you're going to hit it, I hope.
All right, reset. And whenever you're ready.
All right, go.
Yep.
80s.
Nope.
90s?
Nope.
2000s?
Yes.
2010, like 2000, 2010?
Yeah.
Is it slasher?
No.
Is there booby traps?
There's boobies in it.
But no booby traps. It's not Saw.
No.
Is there a clown in it?
No.
2000s boobies. Zombies?
That narrows it down. No.
Ghosts?
Yes.
Oh. It's not Insidious. It's not Conjuring.
No, there's no boobies in those movies.
I know. Let's see. Oh, is it 13 Ghosts?
Damn, yeah. 42 seconds. Nice.
Not a lot of ghost films with boobies. It's
my original choice was Scream. I'm like, who'll get that one too fast?
Oh yeah, I would have gotten that. So there it is.
It'll work.
I thought something a little different to add some flavor to the episodes.
For sure.
I'm gonna probably do it on Let's XP as
I'm
well.
gonna try to do a hard one for you right now.
Hard one. Ooh.
See if you can get it.
It's tough. Like that's why I didn't want to go too obscure, with the.
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna be a hard one. It's just I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
All right, whenever you're ready, go.
80s.
Correct.
Slasher.
No.
In the woods.
No.
Zombies.
Yes.
Oh, Day of the Dead.
No.
Let's see. Is it Return of the Living Dead?
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be harder because there's so much 80s zombie movies.
Yeah, I know.
No, damn it. All right. You're too good at this one.
Oh, there you go.
Oh shit.
So let us know, listeners, if you like this type of game as something we should add to our repertoire of types of games we do for trivia, just so we're not doing always the same old trivia. Yeah. I figured start finding other ways of doing stuff once in a while.
Mm-hmm. All right, Madman.
Yes.
All right, Madman, 1981, directed by Joe Gianni. At a summer camp for use, cocky preteen calls out the name of mass serial killer Madman Mars. Suddenly, counselors are being maimed and slaughtered in various ways by the backwoodsman who has returned when his name was called. Fun fact, they filmed this in the winter, so those leaps were fake. They had to tape them on and shit. So that's fun. Yeah, so this one starts Galen Ross, and the reason that all the actors' names are different is because it was a non-union film and they're all in the union, so they would have gotten in trouble. So Galen Ross is credited as, I think, Alexis or something like that. But this movie starts off with a campfire, and you got the old man leader of the camp. He's telling fucking stories, and this one guy singing a theme song about Madman Mars, which is pretty cool. And you got little kids that are fucking scared, but he's like basically telling a legend about Madman Mars, who was a farmer, and of course the farmhouse is right around the edge over there. We're a little close to it. He might hear us. But this guy snapped and killed his family with an axe, and then the townspeople hung him. And then the next day, his body disappeared, and he's still in the woods. So, they tell the ghost story, and they all go to bed. And lo and behold, Madman Mars is stalking the town again, stalking the counselors and killing everybody. It has a very strange love scene between Galen Ross and her boyfriend in a hot tub that's very strange. It's got some cool kills in it. It's a bit wonky and a little bit too long for my taste, but overall I enjoyed it. I do have some issues, and like there's some really, really stupid shit in here, but there's also weird stuff too, where it's like Galen Ross's love interest, right? He kind of snaps because he wants to have sex later, and she's like, no, not tonight. And he's like, you're never gonna see me again, you're gonna dump me, whatever. And he says that in front of everybody. But to flip this, like the script, usually that dickhead guy would be a dickhead for the whole movie. And like 2 scenes later, he's like, I would like to apologize to everyone. He stands up at the table, he apologizes to the whole group, he apologizes to her, and like he's a good guy. I'm like, what? Usually this guy's like a piece of shit, but no, he's apologizing for his behavior. I'm like, this is not a slasher, a normal slasher behavior. But yeah, we're following these guys around as they're, one guy goes missing, and then 2 more go looking for him, and they go missing, and so on and so on. So it's pretty much basic slasher plot until the end, where we'll talk about later. But overall, I enjoy it, but I do have issues.
So I've never seen this one before. So this was a brand new watch for me, and I didn't really know what to expect. All I knew is that the killer, he kind of reminds me of the killer in Slaughterhouse. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. Another kind of 80s big kind of burly guy.
I think it's like the same poster too, almost. I think.
Yeah. Exactly. So. Huh. I guess I was confused it too. So Madman almost never got on my radar because I always thought Slaughterhouse, but I've seen that one. So anyway, so yeah, it was all right. It was cool to see Galen Ross. I always enjoy seeing her. I mean, like you said, she's been in 3 films, so we don't get to see her a lot, and that's a shame because she is really good at what she does. So that was really cool to see. I love movies to take place at a summer camp. I never got to go to summer camp, but I could see how much fun it would be to just kind of hang out with your friends all day and do activities and stuff. But I felt like, the movie starts at a campfire and everything, and I was kind of hoping to see more summer camp stuff, kind of like sleepaway camp, where you see really the different troops and things going on. But the movie takes place all in basically one night, so you never really get a good sense of how big this camp is, how many people are at this camp. There are kids there somewhere because you see them early on, but they kind of just disappear into the story at some point and don't really come back. So that was really odd. There's also like the people just basically go in the woods and get killed. That's kind of the whole movie up until right at the end. So that was a little goofy as well. I do think the kills were pretty good. They were fun to watch. I actually read that the guy who took the really odd hot tub with Galen Ross, he was actually choking himself as they were filming his choking scene so that it would look more real. But then
that's an actor.
Yeah, then the production was starting to get worried that he'd actually kill himself by doing that. So yeah, that was because it did look really good. Like it looked like he was
it looked
pale.
Great. That's one of my notes. It looked fantastic.
Yeah, well then you know why. He's really doing it. So that's fucking crazy. That hot tub scene, what the fuck was that?
Well, funny enough, Galen did a new interview for the disc I got, and she was saying they had a fucking falling out, her and her love interest. So when they were making out, I guess she said something about us kissing, and he retreated from the set and locked himself in the sauna, and then he wouldn't come out for a long time until production was like, hey, you need to get the fuck out of here, dude.
Really?
So they filmed the kissing scene, and then how they filmed that scene where they're spinning around in the hot tub
super randomly.
That's because they were fighting, and that was the scene they filmed right after he got out of the sauna.
Really?
Yeah. So the close-up of his belly button,
oh my god, yeah.
I'm like, what yeah, I'm like, why are we doing it's all right, cool sex scene. Usually, you show anything. You can show the guy's chest or you can show her breast or whatever, but they show the dude's belly button. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was, and then you have the kind of song playing over it, and it was just
I'm convinced that was him singing.
Oh,
because it kind of sound like him.
It does, because he's the one singing at the beginning of the film too.
Yeah,
it was odd. It was a super weird scene.
Yeah,
and
weird.
The spinning, yeah, I guess now it doesn't make sense, but it explains what the fuck was up with that. But it was so weird. They're just in a hot tub and they're just spinning around, but individually.
Yeah,
it's the weirdest thing. It's anyway.
You know what I was thinking too, because clearly he ejaculated, And like this is a fucking child camp. And now you got jizz floating around in the spa. And like
God.
I'm assuming they'll use the spa themselves. Like, this is gross, man.
Yeah, it was super weird. Other notable moments for me. So there's a girl who goes to hide in the refrigerator.
I have that note too.
Which is so weird. That's the best place you could find is the refrigerator.
Well, it's because she pulls out everything. I'm like, Mars is not going to notice you pulled out the shelf from the fridge.
Right.
There's
shelves all over the floor and like food and stuff. Yeah.
She could have ran through the door that was 2 feet to her left, but she went and hid in the fridge.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And then of course they play on the tropes of the car troubles. Every car in this film has car trouble at the most convenient time. So that's always funny to see. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very random film. There are some pretty good shots actually. That shot in particular with the fridge, the kitchen is super lit up, which is half the screen, but then the room where Mars is, which is the killer in the film, is super dark, and it looks like the screen's cut in half. It was like almost like two shots in one, and I thought like camera tricks like that were pretty interesting. So I enjoyed stuff like that. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just, there's one of the problems, I didn't really care for too many of the characters. Like I cared for Galen's character only because I knew her from Dawn of the Dead, not because of what she did in the film. So I didn't really care if anyone died, and I was also super confused with the kid who's lost in the woods. He's just like wandering around the whole film, kind of lost. He doesn't really do anything until
the one that shows up at the end.
Yeah, until the end, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Super random, but yeah, it's just it was a weird movie.
Yeah, and then Galen dies at the end.
Yeah,
but like, see, I like the ending though, because like, okay, she's gonna get the drop on him and kill him and it'll be over. But no, he hangs her up on a mate hook, which is actually a pretty cool effect. But it was so over dramatic when she's like reaching for the knife and like trying to get him in slow motion, and it's like, what the hell? And she stabs him in like the shoulder, and he's supposed to be
shoulder.
Dead. Yeah, and then burns the fucking house down. Which, are there any kids in that fucking house? Like, are we just gonna gloss over this?
No one knows. I don't know where these kids are. You see them very briefly near the end.
There's like 3 kids too, like total, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it was odd. But how cool is that? Like chill head, like the head counselor guy, the old guy.
Well, the old dude's like, hey, save a beer for me.
Right. Yeah, he's super, super chill. Apparently,
you guys go fuck in the hot tub.
I read that they were trying to get Vincent Price for that.
Really?
Which is so like, I don't know if they actually could have landed that. I don't know, early 80s.
80. Yeah, what was he doing in the 80s?
He's doing
everything.
Hilarious House of Frankenstein, but that's near the end of his career. I just don't see. I think he's too old to be the counselor, to be honest.
Well, this guy was old too. I really liked the old dude.
Yeah, he was. He was super cool.
It was another strange scene too, is when Galen's like, hey, like I appreciate your scary stories, but it scares the little kids. And he's like, I agree with you. I didn't think I'm like, what are these people doing? Acting like normal human beings. In any other slasher, the jealous boyfriend would have never redeemed himself. He would have probably had sex with somebody else and we would have hated him. The head like counseling guy, the old dude, would have been like, fuck you, this is my camp, I'm gonna do whatever jokes I want. But everyone is like super mature in this movie. And even like the couple that they try to make you like, where you have no idea who they are until they die. First of all, that girl, she drove me crazy with her screaming and everything. But like, even like that, like, who are these people? Oh, it's their scene. Oh, they're gonna die. Let's get to know them for 3 minutes. And they're like, I love you so much. I'm like, these characters aren't acting like normal slashers either. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, there's no character development in this at all. So yeah, like it's basically just fodder, like who's the next victim that we can get Mars to kill up until the end. Really,
what do you think about Mars himself with his hobbit feet?
I don't really understand it. Like, I don't understand, like, you don't really see him all that well ever. You see him in the shadows for the majority of the film, and he's got like weird hands and weird feet, and I don't know, it was a weird.
He growls a lot too.
Yeah, I really didn't know what to make of his character. Like, it didn't make sense with his backstory as to why he looks so grotesque and stuff.
Did he only come out because that one kid called for him, or was he just chilling there? And
probably, Yeah. I mean, it
doesn't make sense.
That was probably the most slasherous moment, was when he tells the story of don't do this. Of course, some shithole kid has to like call him out and stuff. And I don't know why Mars is like climbing trees and shit just to like peep on people, and not really do anything. It's apparently the actor almost fell out of the tree. Yeah, just whatever. It was an interesting film. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a great film by any stretch, but
Yeah,
I have a soft spot for it.
Right. I was expecting more, maybe because I'm like old, I don't have any nostalgia for it. That I didn't like it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
I was just kind of hoping for, I guess, more of a straight up 80s camp film, and I didn't get that. So I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, increase the kills, have a little bit more variety than just someone going off to the woods by themselves.
Right.
But I really, what? Come to think of it, no kids were harmed in that because that was his house she went into. And
oh, that's
down.
right. Yeah, that's right.
So, but yeah, she was in her interview too. She wished her character lived and that she killed Madman Mars. She was not happy that her character died off. And then she did Creepshow, and then she quit acting to direct like documentaries about Chinese women and stuff like that. So,
right.
Fun fact. But yeah, like overall, like I really like it, but I know it's not near like the top of not even close, not even the same discussion as top of the 80s, you know what I mean? But it's like it's one of those 80s one-offs, right? That like The Burning, not as good as Burning clearly, but
right.
It's like one of those one-offs where it's like, oh, they never did anything else with this. Like I think you could, if you had a talented filmmaker and a tighter script, you can make a like Madman Mars could have been like a slasher villain. You could have had more spin-offs or more sequels and stuff like that, or a stronger original. But yeah, it's just cool seeing a slasher from the 80s that isn't Michael or Freddy, things like that. So that's why I like it. Plus he's got his own theme song, which is cool.
Yeah, right. I actually read somewhere as well that originally the story was going to be about Chopsy. I think that's one from The Burning. Chopsy, is that what they call him? Cropsy. That's right. Cropsy from The Burning. And then they heard that The Burning was happening, and they changed the character accordingly to make this instead. So that might be one of the reasons why the script is so, I guess, weak, is they had to go a completely different direction kind of at the last minute. But,
well, according to her, it got delayed a bunch of times from the summer to the winter, so they had to change a bunch of stuff too.
Yeah, and I was wondering why people were wearing such like big jackets for the middle of the summer. Yeah, like the guy who gets hung there, he's wearing like a full ass with the feathers and full jacket, and like it's kind of a weird thing to wear in the middle of summer.
I know. Yeah. Well, rate it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's still got that 80s charm. It gets a point automatically just for having her in it because I like her so much. But it's not something I think I'd watch again. It's there's a lot of other stuff that I'd rather watch over this. But I still thought it was enjoyable, so I give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I give it a solid 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, but probably about a 7.25 out of 10. Like I said, I know it's like rough around the edges, but he's got his own theme song. He's like a big hobbit-footed killer, and the slasher characters, the kid or the young adults, whatever you want to call them, are different. They act different from other characters in it. So it's fun. Yeah. So that's my rating.
Cool.
Madman Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting that Galen like quit acting. Because she could have like had a big career. I mean, her career has been big with like
with her own, in her own
Yeah, but as far as like horror goes, she could have been steady work for sure.
So this one she made between Dawn and Creepshow, or was this last?
Yes, she did Dawn first. Yeah, Creepshow was last, and then she retired from acting.
Yeah, that's a shame because she is pretty good, and that's 2 fucking amazing movies and this, so which is okay, but
well, I mean, her 3 movies are good.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So
from fantastic to okay, so that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, for sure. I take that career shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, do cons to this day because of it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. But if I ever see Galen again, I'm gonna get some kind of 8x10 of this. I'm gonna have to order one online because Joe said she didn't have any, but that'd be completely random to get Madman Mars.
I'm actually surprised she doesn't have like at least like an 8x10 little poster thing
of her like in the spa doing the weird circling thing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but that the guy who played Madman Mars has like they interviewed him too, and he has like a shrine to this movie in his house. It's pretty cool.
All right. Like is this his only thing?
Yes. So like people build him shit and send it to him.
Nice. I actually read another piece of trivia was that during the filming of the movie, his daughter or son was born, and he went to the hospital still dressed as Madman Mars, or at least partially. So I thought that was interesting. That good times.
All right, that's Madman.
There you go. So happy birthday. Great
Thank
pick.
you.
I always like to go
Great
back.
pick. Yeah.
I always like to go back to the 80s, or something.
You can't go wrong, man. Even if it's bad, it still looks like an 80s movie. It still has that 80s look, which always automatically gets a couple points, and always had some goofy ass soundtrack that sounds really cool. 80s is special, man.
It is.
80s
Absolutely.
and 70s. 70s got like a grimy look. 80s has that like, what would you describe the 80s look as?
It's kind of like it's still like grimy, but it's like people are learning from the 70s. Like they're, I don't know. It's just
it's not washed out like in the 90s yet.
Yeah. 90s was like too polished for some of the films.
It's either too polished or too dark.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, the 90s. I never liked the 90s aesthetics so much.
It's either Clueless or Crow in the 90s. It's like,
right, exactly. Right.
Which we'll cover Crow shortly for Let's XP.
That's right. So so happy birthday once again. So everyone go wish Todd a happy birthday on all of the social media and stuff like that. Next week, we don't know what we're doing yet. We're kind of taking it week by week right now, just kind of see what's coming out. But I know some of the bigger movies are finally starting to come out for a quick kind of early summer release. I know Nope is not too far away. Firestarter is not too far away.
Firestarter, Nope.
Men. I don't know if
Men. What the fuck is Men?
It's a new A24 film that's coming out soon. I don't know if that'll be a theater release, but I'm sure there'll be stuff to check out. So
yeah, for sure.
Check out our Discord, and you'll know, before the episode's release, what exactly we're reviewing, stuff like that. And like I said before, stick to the end. We have an interview with Russell Owen. Very, very nice guy. Had great answers to everything. It's only a 15-minute interview, so not too long either. And check out his film, Shepard. It's I think it's worth a watch. So yeah, that's it. All right.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Welcome back, everyone, to the Horror Squad podcast, where tonight we have a very special guest. Fans might know him best for directing the film Inmate Zero, and he's here today to promote his new film, Shepard, which will be in theaters on May 6th and available on demand and digital on May 10th, which he wrote and directed. Russell Owen. Russell, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Can you please tell us a little bit about your new movie, Shepard?
Shepard is a slow burn psychological thriller about one man who takes a job as a shepherd that he sees advertised in a paper on an island, completely alone, just him and his dog and 600 sheep, after the death of his wife. He's running away from his grief, only for it to catch up with him.
Excellent. So in this movie, Tom Hughes, who plays Eric Black, spends a good portion of the film alone. What were some of the challenges in filming an actor having no one to act opposite of for such a long time in the film?
I think it's a massive challenge, and it was difficult to cast somebody who we knew would be able to take that on and really embrace that as a challenge. I mean, you have to find somebody that really delivers storytelling with their body language. And Tom came out of nowhere at the top of Gemma Sykes' casting list, the casting director, Gemma Sykes, and it was incredible. I mean, it does come down to the cast. It comes down to everything, every department, music, sound. The island itself has to be a character. There's a lot more. It's a bigger challenge than any other script, with lots of other characters basically telling you the story, because you have to have everything that you're seeing and hearing tell the story rather than dialogue.
Right, which is such a huge contrast compared to your other film, Inmate Zero, which was such an ensemble cast that had a lot of people to play off of. Do you prefer one over the other, or do you like the challenges of both?
Inmate Zero I hadn't written it, and it was an odd project because I had gotten this script and there wasn't really much of a story to it. It was kind of like a first draft with lots of ideas in there. And I didn't know quite what to do with it, but I had 3.5 full weeks before we were shooting it. We had no cast, no location or anything. So we just had to go straight into it and try and do as much as we could on a really, really small budget. And that was great, but it was a completely different challenge in another way, and I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. And then Shepard was the opposite. I knew the story. It was very clean, simple. We had we had plenty of time to prep. But it wasn't driven by one set piece and then to another, to another, to another. A set piece in Shepard is, you know, a cup of tea that's made itself, and somebody stares at it thinking, why is that there? And you know, you've got to make a lot of more decisions in terms of like, how do I move the camera? How do I you know, ramp up the music? Should there be music at this point? The decision making is much more subtle.
Right. And speaking of that, the atmosphere really stands out in this film. Like, it's incredible, the atmosphere that you created for this. What other films influence your style when setting the atmosphere for Shepard?
It's funny. I mean, I normally I don't start with films. I mean, it's obvious there's so many inspirations in there which you can't help. I mean, with cinema language, everybody adds to it every year, and you go and see a film and that sticks in your head. And you go, I'm going to do what that person did, and put the. But in terms of inspiration, it's always ghost stories told verbally from when I was a kid, growing up in North Wales. Very, very old landscape. You've had medieval stories back to Viking stories, back to pagan stories, and all that way. It's very, very old. And you get all these stories handed down, different ghost stories. And I always have a big imagination. So they always terrify me more than films do. And so when you go into making a film, that was always my thing. So how do I get that point across without, you know, saying anything? And it always comes down to atmosphere. I've always got the sounds in my mind, so I'll be calling Edwin, the sound designer, and saying it's more like this, it's more like that. And instead of using, you know, waves crashing, can we like duplicate lots of bottles smashing so it sounds a little bit, but you're not quite sure. And you know, it's films like, I mean, people like Christopher Nolan and the way he deals with sound design and music is always really interesting. Like with Dunkirk, you're not sure whether it's music or it's a plane engine and that kind of. I think layering things up and subverting lots of different areas always helps build an atmosphere and a certain sense of place. And that's where the whole thing started, was a sense of place. I wanted one tiny little guy in the middle of a huge landscape, and then try and make sure that through editing, through cinematography and sound and set design, that people really feel that they're there.
Right. And you also just talked about the incredible locations in this film. So what were your experiences filming in some of those locations that feature in Shepard?
I mean, the one, it was, again, the location had to be a character. So it couldn't just be, you know, somewhere that everyone else has filmed, a little bit, a corner of Scotland or Wales, and you know, and a bit of sea, and that'd be really had to find somewhere which had a personality. And the far side of the Isle of Mull, which is a very, very difficult place to. It's one of the most remote places in the UK, if not Europe, where you have to go right far out on these tiny roads which can't take trucks or anything like that, and these little Lord of the Rings Hobbit bridges, and with they can't take the weight of all the stuff you're taking, and then you have to build sets there, and you have to build a lighthouse and a cottage. But it was just as important as casting the right person, because, as I say, it wasn't anyone to bounce off. He had to have the 360, be surrounded by this environment, and it was a huge challenge in terms of, you know, it was rough weather. You got wind and rain blowing in your face in winter in Scotland, off the west coast, straight off the Atlantic. It's one of the windiest parts of Europe. So with set nearly blew away a few times. Had these huge big water tanks holding the cottage down. But it was incredible. I mean, it was worth the effort just to get that on camera. And I was told off a few times. So I know you should have done this somewhere simpler outside Glasgow in a field or whatever, but it wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they were like insane. The locations in this, like, really cool. Another thing he features really heavily in the film are it's really heavy subjects that you tackle. What was your experience writing this film, dealing with such heavy subjects?
I think in the past, I mean, when I first approached it, it was just purely about how can I create a sense of space also through my writing and a sense of isolation. And then over the years, I mean, I wrote it 15 years ago. It takes that long sometimes to get a film made, you know, particularly if you haven't done anything. And it was only because of Inmate Zero. I you know, piggybacked off that and said, I won't take a fee for Inmate Zero if you make this finally, which they agreed to do. But then I had gotten more experience through writing. I was a storyboard and concept artist for years for other directors, and I learned my craft through that before I started doing short films and commercials. But then I put this on the shelf, and then I'd lost a friend who used to suffer badly from depression, and he had relayed a lot of his experiences before he died about, you know, how it made him feel. And I took it back off the shelf after his funeral. I started reworking it, from his perspective. So the character took on a lot of the traits that I had learned from him, because he was dealing with, you know, attempted suicide and depression, and also and one of the key things was, which made it ping in my head, Shepard, was that to be depressed is like being in a horror film. So a lot of the film itself is even like a heightened reality horror film, like a Hammer horror. You know, the lightning and the house and the set design and the cobwebs and the gas lamps. You know, it's deliberate, but it's not. It's supposed to remove you a little bit from reality. So that's what I was trying to do.
So you wrote and directed this film. Is there one or the other that you enjoy doing more, the writing or the directing?
That's really difficult. I love sitting down with an idea and writing, and when I'm in the flow, it's incredible. You know, it's a real amazing experience, and it's quite a safe place, because you can do things, no one else is seeing it, you can change things, you're not being judged. Directing is terrifying at the same time, but then when you get something right, that's like, you know, you're absolutely shattered getting to the top of that Mount Everest, but then, you know, you look back at that and go, oh, that was incredible. I guess that's the best way to compare it. You once you've done one or two, it's like, oh, I can do better, I can go back, I can improve on that, I can do, I've got a great idea and I know I can make this work. So it's addictive, but in very different ways.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit of what you're going to do next after making Shepard? Can you talk about what's coming up?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm just doing commercials for fashion adverts and jewelry, or randomly. But my next film, I've got 3 that I'm currently working on, and I'm speaking to 2 small studios in the UK, well, US and the UK, with a slightly bigger budget. So one's a follow-up to Shepard, not a sequel. And the other one is like a sort of Hitchcock-style thriller that's set in the south of France. So we'll see which one gets legs and starts moving first. But either or, I'll be over the moon.
Is the horror genre the genre that you'd like to keep going in, or is there another genre maybe you'd like to tackle one day?
I'd love to tackle action properly with big budgets, and not do it on the cheap. I'm not really an action director. I love my slow burns, and I love psychology and that kind of thing. But horror is, I think, my home. Thriller and horrors. I think it's the most innovative genre. There's a lot of innovation that's happened in the history of film through horror films. And they're more fun, and you can go deeper into all sorts of different subjects and characters with horror. So horror is something I'll probably always keep falling back into. It's my happy place.
Awesome. And is there anything else you'd like to plug, like a social media or somewhere that people can reach you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Russ Owen with double S, and it's the same on my Twitter.
Thank you very much, Russell. It's been an absolute pleasure. And everyone, Shepard, you can check it out in theaters on May 6th and on demand digital on May 10th. It's a great film, and I hope everyone can go and see it. So thank you very much, Russell. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Shepard.